At this point, I would say VR is a pretty integral part of my life. So I wanted to try something different and explain slash share what that looks like to have virtual reality be part of your everyday life, or mine at least. So what does it look like for me to have VR so integrated into my life? Does it mean that I spend 24/7 in virtual reality and I've completely just forgotten about real life? No, absolutely not. I don't think that that's realistic. Like, let's just think of it from a logical standpoint. With anything that you could possibly be super interested in, say, whether it be like a sport, maybe you play hockey, and if that's like your passion and you're super interested in it, it doesn't mean that you're doing it 24/7. That seems impossible. Even for like people that are obsessed with a video game, like, yeah, sure, they might play it a lot of the time, but that doesn't mean you're spending like 24/7. Or people that are interested in photography, that doesn't mean you're like taking photos 24/7. So no, it does not look like you completely forget about reality and you just are completely in an alternate universe. In fact, I moved to San Diego and it's a really beautiful city, so I've actually been spending a lot of time outdoors and it's been great. Now, for some context, I tried my first headset probably a decade ago now. I bought my first VR headset, I think 7 years ago. I became a content creator in the virtual reality space about almost 5 years ago now. And I have been working full time in the VR space for almost 3 years. So that's a big part of my life that virtual reality has been a part of. And I think what changed from me just being someone that's an enthusiast or really excited about virtual reality to having it be part of my everyday life is actually working in the VR industry. So 3 years ago, I worked at Meta. I was a technical program manager. I actually worked on the Meta Quest Pro, the eye tracking and face tracking features. And 2 years ago, in 2022, I quit. And a couple months after quitting, I co-founded a VR company with Eric Masher from Q2C VR Gamer podcast and Skiva from Between Realities podcast. We started a PR and marketing agency for the virtual reality space called Impact Reality. So with that, we started off with just like helping all these VR games with launching to the market, just helping them reach their target audience, which was something that the three of us were pretty comfortable with because we were all content creators in the space and just knew how to reach certain audiences in the VR space. Well, anyway, that whole thing has grown quite a bit now. And now we're making VR games with Flat to VR Studios, but that's a story for a different time. So I went from being an enthusiast who played VR games, like I used to live stream Beat Saber on Twitch, to going to Meta or Oculus, where everybody had a VR headset and we talked about virtual reality every single day. I mean, I worked in the hardware department, so I talked about the hardware aspects of virtual reality rather than software. And I think most consumers are probably used to, like, obviously the software side where you can consume games, etc. But still, that was a pretty big monumental change where VR wasn't just something that I thought about after my day job, it became part of my day job. And then starting a virtual reality company, then it just became like every single day, VR. Like when I wake up, when I'm working during the day, at night to relax and unwind, when I'm going to sleep, sometimes I'm dreaming about virtual reality and how to solve some of the problems that we have in this industry. But what it looks like is, my company being full of VR people and servicing the VR industry. We do have meetings in virtual reality. Usually it's on Fridays when we have a little bit more tolerance for people like having, technical issues or something. But yeah, we take meetings in virtual reality, usually like in Immersed or Horizon workrooms. And gosh.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about game testing, and Eric already knows about it. I just wanted to let also Tim know that we have a little bit updated pipeline. Oh my god, you guys look so cute.
Like, if you work for a remote company and you've never done a meeting in VR, you are missing out. That's all I gotta say, because I don't know, it feels like every Friday, it feels like we're on a field trip and we just go and get to spend time with each other and hang out. And it's just so good for people who are completely remote. What it also looks like is sometimes we work in VR together. For example, me, Elliot, and Eric, we all have Apple Vision Pro headsets. And sometimes when it's just the three of us meeting, we actually meet in Vision Pro. We use FaceTime to meet. And I remember, like, I'll put a video over this, but one time we were like trying to figure out what Airbnb to stay at for this VR event that we're going to, and which is AWE, by the way, that's coming up in June. And we just used Apple Vision Pro and threw up the web browser where we're searching what Airbnb to stay at. I don't know. It was cool. It was great. And I think maybe that's part of it. Maybe a part of it is that, one, I work for a fully remote company, but two, our whole company is based around virtual reality. So if we can do things in VR, we will, basically. Like, that's pretty much it. Like, why would we do stuff not in VR? I don't know. Anyway, so that's the work aspect of VR that I use all the time. Now, when it comes to other types of activities you engage in, for example, like something that people like to do is work out, right? For a while, I was actually using VR to stay fit. The pandemic time, I was playing Beat Saber and live streaming on Twitch because it was fun. I was doing that for like up to 3-4 hours per day, like 4 to 5 times a week. Oh my gosh, I was so fit at that point. That sounds surprising, but like I was burning thousands of calories a day, and because it was so fun to play, I just kept doing it over and over every single day, and that was really good. But at a certain point, like my shoulders started hurting. So, but now I go to a I'm doing a lot of weightlifting now, and obviously you can't really do that in VR. VR is more like of a cardio based type of workout. And like body weight type of workout. But sometimes when I don't feel like going out and I just want to get like a very, very quick workout in, sometimes I will play Beat Saber for like a couple of songs, or I might play like FitXR and do like a Zumba class or their HIIT classes. I love FitXR's HIIT classes. It's like a 15-minute, like very quick, a high cardio, quick workout. So that's super fun. And okay, this one sounds a little bit crazy, but I do have a VR treadmill. It's not set up now because I obviously moved my office. But there was one time when I had my VR treadmill set up. Well, not just one time. There was like one time in my life, like over a period of time anyway, where I would go into VR chat and I would literally just run laps on my VR treadmill, like in different maps around VR chat. I know it sounds ridiculous, it sounds crazy, but like you absolutely can. So anyway, but yeah, now that I am working out at a gym regularly and lifting weights, I don't work out in VR regularly, but I kind of use it as a tool, just like, I don't know, anything, I guess, right? And then now for recreation, like and recreation and socializing. So socializing, I mean, obviously doing the meetings in VR, that's a bit social, but you can also go to like, I don't know, parties in VR. And I did go to parties, and I used to go karaokeing in VR too, especially during the pandemic. But again, now that I live in such a beautiful city, I just want to be out a lot. Well, one, it's a beautiful city, but it's also the summer in San Diego. It's beautiful here. So I'm spending a lot of time outdoors at the moment. So socializing in VR is a little bit less, but I've definitely like done my fair share of walkabout mini golf hangouts and like, going hang out in VR chat, etc. We used to do this a lot actually in my Discord, but just been a little bit busy. So I haven't had community events for a little bit in Discord. And then when it comes to recreation, so yesterday, I finally had some free time for once. Like, okay, so when you have free time, usually you'll either like, I don't know, call a friend, watch TV, scroll through TikTok, or, I don't know, whatever people do for fun. But I did all of those, and I don't know, I scroll through TikTok like every single night, so should probably get a different hobby, but I like doom scrolling. So it's kind of like, man, I just want to do something else. Like I just want to do, like, I have some free time and I just want to do something else, but I don't want to do anything like super productive because I'm kind of like, I get pretty exhausted during the week from work. So I went into VR and I started like scrolling around, just seeing what was around. And I ended up spending about, I don't know, like 30 minutes in a sketching app. And I used to take drawing classes back when I was younger, and I loved drawing classes. I mean, obviously it wasn't very good if you like see my sketch, but it was really nice. Like, it was nice to be able to dabble in a hobby that I haven't partook in a while, and have it be so easy, because now, like, instead of having to go buy paper and all the sketching pencils and like set up and all that stuff, I literally just opened this app. It was called Gesture VR, by the way. I'll add a link below to that in case you're interested. And I just played it. Like, I got to spend like 30 or 45 minutes of my Saturday afternoon just sketching in VR. Like, that's what VR looks like for me. It's like, it's a tool for me now. It's like, just like anything else in your life is a tool. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say about it, but one thing I've been wanting to do more in VR, I really want to get into painting again. I used to paint back when I was in high school. I used to paint, and I did do like one painting live stream on YouTube before in VR. I mean, and so I don't know, one of these days when I just have some free time again, maybe I'll start like, trying to pick up my hobby in painting. Something else I've always wanted to do was learn how to sculpt. And I think there's a sculpting app in VR. So eventually I'll want to try that too. Right. And then the last part. So that's, we're going through the days, and at the end of the night, actually, I do spend like most nights of the week in my Apple Vision Pro. This doesn't sound like super exciting, but when I'm in my Apple Vision Pro at night, either I'm watching K-dramas, because I love K-dramas. They're so good. If you have not seen It's Okay to Not Be Okay, you are missing out. It's so good. Let me know what you think when you see it. But yeah, I watch K-drama in my Apple Vision Pro because I don't have a TV in my room. And then on the times that I'm not watching stuff on Apple Vision Pro, I'm actually journaling. I started journaling because I thought it's probably good for me to, get things out and process my thoughts and my feelings. And you're probably thinking, okay, Jasmine, why don't you just journal on like a pen and paper? And I could, I definitely could, but in VR, I can create this like environment, at least in Apple Vision Pro. I mean, I'm sure you could do it in Quest 3 as well, but I journal in my Apple Vision Pro. So how I set it up is I'll have this journaling app. I connect my keyboard to my Apple Vision Pro, and then I can type stuff. And then I just like to put stuff around my environment to create this like ambiance that allows me to be open. It's kind of like how people will like light candles or set up lighting or something to set the mood for different things or create a certain ambiance. I do that, but in Apple Vision Pro. So for example, I'll have like YouTube open in a browser, because YouTube app is obviously not available on the Apple Vision Pro directly. But yeah, I'll have like a browser with YouTube and some like lo-fi playing on this side. And then I'll have like this little globe app that shows you what the weather is outside in your house. And it's just, I mean, do I need it there? No, but it's just so cute. And then there's also this widget app that I like keep in that portion. And on there I have like this retro clock, and I have like a photo of me and my husband. And I just like create this very serene environment. And then I just journal. And of course I like play games in my recreational time. Like for example, like the other week I was playing a Power Wash Simulator because the SpongeBob build came out. And that's also very zen and relaxing. And obviously there's people that spend way more time in VR than I do. Like I know someone who works in VR every single workday, like for the past, I think 5 years, he's been working in VR all 8+ hours of the day. And he like programs and codes and has all these monitors in here. So there's obviously people that use VR a lot more than me, but there are certainly people who have never used VR before. I would say that I use it probably a moderate amount and in a way that is very harmonious with my lifestyle. So anyway, I just want to share some thoughts about VR and try a new format of a video where I kind of just share thoughts. If you want to see my thoughts on anything else in the VR space, let me know in the comments. But I think I'm gonna make this a series, so hopefully I'll see you in this next video. All right, goodbye.